Hello VHL, welcome to Beketov's CoDCast number 52. Had a bit of a pause there because I recorded this entire thing yesterday, and I'm still trying to get my setup working with the new card, and I had frame drops all over the place, and it was just completely unwatchable. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of time to actually record this today, so I'm gonna have to try and get through things a little bit quicker than I did yesterday. So if it feels like I'm rushing, I'm sorry. It's just what it is. I've already answered the questions, and I'm in a rush. So goodbye. As you can probably tell, we are in, I'm just trying to get my questions up. We are in Infinite Warfare, as usual. I actually got a gold gun yesterday during the recording, but obviously that recording didn't work. So, I've got actually 4 left for solar and 9 left in total. So, two sniper rifles and two pistols is all I have left. I got a pistol done yesterday, so not a lot left to finish here. But let's jump right into the questions, because, like I said, I don't have the most time in the world. That's not a headshot. So yeah, pretty much I'm stuck on like needing headshots on this thing now, and double kills. I think that's a headshot. Ow. Just not expecting a shotgun. So, Boom says, it's always nice to receive some free shit. Besides Elgato, what other companies do you think will take an interest in your cast? Well, just to be clear, Elgato didn't even take an interest in my cast. The CoDCast, I upload as unlisted, so pretty much unless you have a link, you're never going to see it. So, you guys can see it, but that's about it. That was a nice little scope. So they never even saw what happened there, and I didn't say this in the unboxing video because I didn't want it to be, like, out in public. But basically, ever since I got my Elgato about a year-ish ago, I have, I've been a really active member of the Elgato subreddit, and that subreddit, generally speaking, is more of a, like, support forum than anything else. So because I've been so, and it's essentially run by like one guy. I don't remember what his like actual title is, but it's run by one guy essentially. He does like all of it, and I've been really active and helpful with support and kind of helping that guy out. So he wrote me probably about a month ago now, I guess, and asked for my address and say, hey, I'm gonna send you out a care package just for really helping me out here. So that's what I got it for. They had no idea what I've even like done. To answer your actual question, if other companies were going to take an interest in this, like, let's just assume that they could actually see it, right? Just for the sake of the question, we're going to assume they could actually see this thing. Obviously, these are, like, it would never happen in a million years, but it'd be cool. The developer for the game, obviously, so this one is Infinity Ward, next one will be Sledgehammer, etc., etc. Potentially, the Blue Microphone Company. I run a Blue Yeti microphone, so maybe them. Aside from that, I mean, I don't. I use an Astro headset, so maybe if I ever recorded these with like my webcam on, and people would actually be able to tell that I use Astros, then maybe them. But that's about it. I don't have like Razer peripherals and stuff that I think they would show an interest in me. But yeah, it is always nice to receive free stuff, though. If I can get that free stuff working properly, that would be obviously much much better. Oh, fuck that up. Oh, well, he died anyway. He didn't. Oh, yes, he did. Okay. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm trying to get it figured out. Obviously, it doesn't work with my Mac, and the PC that I took from the office is hit or miss, so. Hit him! God fucking damn it. I hate sniper rifles. Have you noticed? Next question. How's the atmosphere in New York right now? Is everyone okay with team performance this season? The atmosphere is a little quiet. I don't know if it's just that we're busy or what. There's not a ton of discussion going on, but I mean it's fine. I obviously it would be better if we were doing better against Stockholm. It'd be better if Quebec wasn't beating us, like, but like I have faith that like things could turn around, because like obviously the playoffs are a whole different beast. New York had a lot of success in the playoffs the last 2 years when by no regards they should have. So I'm hoping we can sort of keep that trend going. God damn, I hate sniper rifles. But right now it's I look at it as cautious optimism. Hopefully we can sort of turn things around. Obviously we started the season off much stronger than we have been now, but we are facing much weaker teams. Like, I wish we could beat Stockholm. I don't know what exactly it is with them that we just can't stop them, but we'll see how the playoffs go. That's sort of what I'm looking forward to right now. How many players do you think you have left in you? Okay, I wrote a post a couple of days ago that you probably saw about this, just detailing that basically I'm starting to get burnt out. I've been in the VHL I think every single day of its existence. I've never not had a player. I've had bouts of like inactivity, I guess, but I've never not had a player in the VHL. So, God damn it. For me, it's starting to feel like almost a chore. God damn it. I keep checking my score, expecting it to be, like, less shitty, but I'm using a fucking sniper rifle. It's not going to be less shitty. What was I saying? Yeah, it's just, like, it's starting to take its toll on me, having been in the league for so long, that we'll see how things go. I think after Holik, I might run Sokolov just as, like, a welfare player for a little bit. Woo, let's go. I might run Sokolov as just, like, a welfare player for a little bit, and not worry about it quite as much. Wow, that guy got hit with one bullet from 4 people. What are the odds? And then once Sokolov retires, maybe I'll just sort of, if I'm feeling back up to it, I might make another guy immediately, but I also might just take a little bit of a break. Try and just sort of enjoy the community a little bit more instead of just constantly trying to be like sorry, I'm trying to fix something with my other computer here. Instead of constantly trying to be I don't know, like, active in the community, but also have a good player, and I'm stressing too much about it, and I think that I might just need a break to be like, hey, look, I'm gonna focus on the community here instead of focusing on just, like, everything else, I guess. I won't have to focus on my player quite as much. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. At this point, I don't really know exactly what my plan is. I hope to keep having more players in me. I think I just need a break. That's sort of how I look at it. So thank you, Boom. Sorry I rushed through them a little more than usual, but it's, like I said, I don't have a lot of time, and it's... I already answered these questions, even if you guys never heard it. And I played much better than I'm playing today, annoyingly enough. Next up is Anderson. If the Americans lose to the Mut in the conference finals, will you still play in New York next season? I look at it this way. If they still want me, I will still play there. Obviously, the decision isn't entirely on me. If New York says, like, nah, we're not really interested, then obviously, we'll try and figure something out. But, like, I have a 2-year contract. I signed a 2-year contract for a reason. So, I believe in New York's abilities. Even next season when we're gonna lose some guys, I think we can probably make some deals and build things back around. So we'll see how things go. Right now, regardless win or lose, my plan is to stay, the same as my plan was to stay in free agency when I signed. So I have no intention of, like, demanding a trade or anything along those lines. I can see that guy, but thing is, I don't want to stay. Yep, I was like, I don't want to stay in one place too long because he's gonna shoot me. You know STHS in and out. I wouldn't say that. Ooh, just a sec. Just a sec. Okay. How does a 30 TP scrub like Saskatoon's Carlo Capitulo be the VHLM's fourth best goaltender and fourth best goal scorer, and second best center, behind only Bo Bozer, but ahead of a 100 TP player like Raskro and Rudy Ying? My guess would be, and I don't pay enough attention to the VHLM to really know specifically, because I don't know what teams and stuff they're on, but just my guess would be that because he's playing, I'm guessing those other guys are on Vegas, and if you're playing on a stronger team, you're obviously going to have much less possession time, and much less possession time and more goals getting spread around means you have fewer points. So because he's playing for a weaker team, he's stat padding, essentially. We saw it last season in the VHL with Joel Jarvie. He went on, and the same with AK-47, they went absolutely off on Cologne because there was no one else. So, like, all goals that Cologne scored, even if it's less than, say, New York scored, were scored by those two guys. So that's sort of what ends up happening, is if you're on a weaker team, you're going to, like, it's the same as, like, look at how I'm doing with Sokolov this season. He's actually, like, doing pretty well, and that is because he doesn't have anyone else really on Toronto to take his points. Oh, come on! I can accept my first two fucking missing, but that third one was dead on. Okay, they should be spawning plane now. Damn, that flinch, man. So yeah, that would be my guess, is it's just he's stat padding because he's on a weaker team. It happens all the time. As I said, I'm doing it with Toronto right now. It's just, if you're like the only goal scorer on the team, you're going to get all the goals. So it's just the way it is. It's not, I mean, maybe he's building his player really, really well. That is possible. But with 30 TP, I doubt it. Especially at, like, when you're talking low levels, a small amount of TP makes a big difference. Like, 20 TP does a ton when you're going from 40 to 60. Does a ton more there than it does from, like, I guess it'd be, like, 90 to 94 now. Like, anyway. What do you think about relocating Cologne to the Far East? Nope. Don't care for that idea. I don't mean to try and just shut you down. It's just... I don't like relocating teams in general. And especially a team that... Like, an expansion team that's still relatively new. I just don't see the appeal. Especially to the Far East, where it's... Excuse me. There's really no major hockey market, so it just doesn't make... It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Friendly drone support is active. The enemy launched a counter UAV. Enemy USV in your vicinity. UAV on standby. Threats detected near your position. Location's marked.
Damn it, he's taking out my UAV, too. I can see him doing it.
A counter UAV standing by. UAV lost. I say again, counter UAV coming to you.
How scared is the fact that Slava, Alexei, Alex Vard, and Luka Volkov could once again be suited up for the Aces next season? Obviously, again, I don't pay that much attention to the VHLM, so I really don't know how scary that is, but I'm going to assume they are some top players, so potentially very frightening. The Aces have really done a number on the VHLM for potentially a couple of seasons. The only thing that's really going to hurt them is that they'll need to get a goalie next year, because Zimmers is going to be gone. So they'll need to get a goalie, and I don't know how many teams are going to really be willing to try and trade with them after what they've done this year, right? So we'll see sort of what happens there. Astro Moon legit shot at most improved. Most definitely. I was easily one of the biggest proponents to, like, the fuck Moon bandwagon. And I can say that if he's on the ballot for most improved, I would vote for him. And if he's not on the ballot, it is kind of a travesty, because he should be. Moon right now for me is one of the 4 that is in Shaw contention.
This mission failure
So that would be myself, DeGraff, Sky, and Moon. So to go from having under 900 save percentage, I don't even know what his goals against was, but it was bad, to being in Shaw contention, there's no doubt that is an amazingly improved player. Like, I think Sky won it last year, and his stats didn't jump up that much. So, yeah, unless somebody really comes out of nowhere, Moon is easily a contender for most improved, if not the Shaw. Knowing GM personalities, which VHL GMs would absolutely avoid drafting me? Honestly, I don't think any of them would automatically avoid drafting you, but you have to recognize that, like, your track record is working against you. Not only from your first time here, where, like, I'm not gonna get into it, but you know what you did, but also the fact that when you came back here, you made a player, got drafted, and then immediately retired and screwed dirty. That doesn't make you look good to a GM. That especially with your past fascination with the VHLM, it's a terrifying perspective from a GM that you might just say, nah, I'm bored with this, and just up and leave their team. So if you can prove to a GM that you're in it for the long haul, I don't see a reason that any of them would necessarily shy away from you. But you need to be able to prove that, because I think what you did to Jardy in the VHLM really, really hurt your draft stock a lot. Because it doesn't look good to do that. Do you play Left 4 Dead? And if you do, could you play it in a future CoDCast? I don't really. I've played it before, but, like, it's not zombie horror doesn't tend to, or zombie survival really, doesn't tend to be much of a go-to for me. And I probably wouldn't, even if it was, just because, like, aside from the first episode, I try and keep the CoDCast as COD. Sokolov shoots the shit, maybe, since that's sort of like, alright. They're not going to be sniping this match, just by the look of it, so I'm going to run with the pistol. Yeah, Sokolov shoots the shit, maybe. I'll do those on occasion if I've got time. Because that, I sort of like, I'll play sort of different games for it. But I probably would not do... God damn it! I have 1 kill and it's because the guy blew himself up. Yeah, I would probably not do it for the CoDCast. Excluding the first episode, I try and keep the CoDCast as COD. So, I would probably not play something like that, but... But I mean, I won't leave out the possibility. You buy it for me, I'll play it. Kind of logic. I don't own it, but that would be my biggest like drawback right now is that I just flat out don't own it. And whew, that doesn't look good. Having read what you wrote yesterday about losing interest gradually, if we got hammered, what would we be doing now alone, Winky Face? Okay, I know you're alluding to your weird questions last week. I don't really know what me being burnt out would have to do with what we would do if we were hanging out and drunk, but, no, God fucking, ugh. They're camping and I'm not learning. It's not a good combination. Ow. So yeah, sort of like last week, I would be confused as to what the hell you're doing on the East Coast. But aside from that, I mean, if we're hanging out getting drunk, I mean, probably, you know, play some COD, watch a hockey game or something. I'm a simple man. I don't need much. He seems to be actually coming back for this, but my brain tells me it's probably booby trap. They added new score streak variants, and one of the care packages is a booby trapped one, and I don't trust them. Like, I don't trust stealing any care package now because I know it could be a trap. That one did not appear to be a trap. I'm just paranoid. I really just can't find anyone this match. Like, I'm not playing well, but I can't find anyone either. So yeah, I don't see what my being burnt out has anything to do with it really, but ooh, triple kill. Running away now. Damn it, I needed one more for gold. So, that is it there. So thank you, Anderson, again. Sorry I'm rushing through these, but I've only got so much time this morning, and it was a lot better yesterday, I promise. Moving on to Devise, who has very long questions that are very hard to read on a CoDCast, but I appreciate you for sending them. It's just, they're really hard to read on a CoDCast. They're very lengthy. Talk the goalie battle situation. You were way ahead to start the season, but now suddenly many of the younger goalies are appearing ready to make their mark as well. The Shaw race, because of that, seems pretty wide open. Think you'll win again this season. I mean, I kind of touched on this, but I'll go into a lot more detail here. Obviously, yeah, I was up by a lot more at the start of the year. I had the, 5 or 6 straight shutouts to start the season, and it was, like, my stats were going to come down. I knew that. I obviously wish they could have stayed up a little bit longer, But obviously they were not going to last at those kind of levels. But they've definitely plummeted. I hope I can still win the Shaw again. My expectations are relatively low. Just because, like, it's like I said last week, I've won 4 awards total over all my players. I don't win individual awards. So, to win the Shaw back-to-back, yes, I would love it. But I don't foresee it being likely, is how I look at it. It seems very unlikely that I can do it again, but I would absolutely love to. My actual chances, I think, are kind of slim. I think that if I can turn things around to end the season, I have just as good of a chance as anybody else, but right now it is very, very tight. It is the leaderboard for goalies is changing daily. We've got 4 goalies with a save percentage all very similar and a goals against all very similar. My wins are holding me back a little bit, which is what concerns me, because if all our stats are relatively even, wins is going to be what we look at, even though it's more or less a team stat. I'm actually going to switch this over, because once I got them to 50, I've been trying to switch over to this new guy that's, like, apparently really, really insane, and the challenges are really hard. Oh, this looks satisfying. I've never watched this before, so I'm curious what it is.
So, here you are at last.
I think I just disconnected. I heard it. I can't skip this, so... Oh, wait, yes I can. Okay. I'll watch it later. I don't care.
You don't choose to be Blood Anvil. I decide if you are Blood Anvil.
Alrighty then. So yeah, the Shaw race is going to be very, very tight. I think, honestly, it could come down to wins, which is not something we want, because that is mostly a team stat, but if all the stats are pretty much even, you gotta go with something. And right now, my wins are lower. I can admit it. So, we'll see. We'll see how things are looking at the end of the season. Right now, I'm hoping I can get another Shaw, obviously, but I don't have my hopes up. DeGraff, Sky, even Moon are playing very, very well right now. There's no doubt about it. So, we'll see. The goalie battle, though, is definitely heating up. The beginning of the season, it was pretty much all me and Sky at the beginning, but like I said, those numbers were never going to last, and they obviously didn't, and I dropped off real quick once I had a couple of bad games. So it yeah, it is what it is. We will see what happens. Hopefully I can... I turned it around right at the end of the season last year. I'm hoping I can do that again. That would be obviously very, very much ideal for me, is just to finish really, really strong. But we'll see. The competition is rough. There's no doubt about that. Damn it. I knew he was there, but... The problem with sniping, my snipe accuracy is not the best, and my trigger finger for it is not the fastest, so people tend to be able to counter snipe me real easy. Why did you turn this way? I could have swore he was going the other way. God damn it. How crazy is it that you've been in this league so long? Kendra, Kyle, and I were discussing lengths in the last podcast, but seriously, you guys have been here so long and seen so much change. Did you ever think you would still be going to this day, and what new thing with the VHL has changed since you came aboard all those years ago as your favorite? Okay. Wow, that was long. Yeah, obviously, I did not think I'd still... When I joined... in, I guess it was the summer of 2007, no, I did not still think 10 years later I'd be doing this, obviously. Like, I didn't think the league would still be here 10 years later. And I don't think anybody did. Like, it doesn't... Leagues surviving 10 years, that's unheard of. Like, we are in uncharted waters with the VHL right now, because no league has ever survived this long. So I figured it was going to be another, like, you know, it's the same guys that ran the ESHL and whatever that other one was called, the OHL or whatever. So it's the same guys as that. It'll run well for a while, and then it'll just eventually dissolve, and we'll find something else, right? That was sort of what I figured. I gave it a couple of years, and then I'd be done. And obviously that is not the case. We're still going strong. So it's interesting to say, like, did I think I would still be here? No, because I didn't think the league would still be here. That is sort of how I look at it, is I'm amazed the league is still running quite as strong as it is. Not because the VHL has anything wrong with it, just because leagues in general don't run this long. So I am thoroughly amazed that I'm still here. Even taking that out of the equation, like, even if the VHL, if I was, like, determined, yeah, it'll run forever, I would still be amazed even then that, wow, I spun behind the guy that just killed me. I would still be amazed even then that, like, that I'm still here, just because I was never really intending on it being a thing that I did for 10 years. Like, I figured I would have gotten bored of sim leagues by now, but here we are, 10 years later, I'm still here. So, what change do I like the most? I had a good answer for this, too, and I don't know what it was. Oh, right. Honestly, even though I was a major proponent against it when it first went in, for me, the thing I like the most is the Auto 6. So, when I saw that introduced... Wow, that guy just got a triple kill. Fuck, I'm playing so bad today. Which is annoying, because I played well yesterday, but now I'm using a stupid sniper rifle, so I'm playing awful. When Auto 6 was introduced, I did not like it. I looked at it as, especially for the graphic community, we're not going to have any incentive anymore to improve. People are just going to get stagnant and be like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't really... I get a 6 anyway, so it doesn't matter. And that has not only not been the case, but I've found that... Wow, 9 and 20... I'm fucking awful. I have found that in general, a lot of good has come of it in the sense that, like, we're not waiting. We can get our updates in quicker. We're not waiting for, like a week sometimes for things to be graded. So, like, updates are going in faster. There's also the fact that, like, I could not, under the old grading system, I could not do the CoDCast, I don't think. Just because podcasts did not get graded very quickly. They took a very long time. And I just think that it would have been... it just would have taken too long to really effectively build my player trying to work with the grading system. So, I love it for that. Okay, I don't know where he went. I could hear him, but I could not find him. So, the Auto 6 for me is probably the best thing I think we've changed. Fuck the Vegas Aces, am I right? Again, I don't really pay that much attention to the VHLM, but yes, fuck the Aces. They, from how I've understood it, even without looking at the standings, they did a number on... Ow. They did a number on the league, and they really killed potential parity this season. Not that the VHLM really ever has parity to it, but, like, there's a point where it's like, come on. You can't have every good player on one team. It's just not reasonable. So yeah, fuck the aces. Drink of choice, beer, scotch, etc. You actually nailed it pretty good. I'm not like a heavy drinker or a partier by any means. I'm a very casual drinker, so my usual go-to is just beer. Generally, it'll be Guinness if I can get my hands on it, or if I'm feeling like a lager, it'll just be Stella Artois. I guess that might be a Pilsner. I'm not really sure the difference. Anyway. Okay, come on. There's no way he should have hit me. Like, I saw where he was standing. I should not have been touched. So those are like my, obviously that's my main like go-to. God damn, I'm so awful today. Probably because I'm in a rush. I'm trying to answer things really quick. So those are my main go-to. I do love scotch. I don't have a very good one right now, unfortunately. My bottle of scotch is sort of a mid-shelf scotch. I want to get, because I've had that scotch for like 4 years, and it's only like half empty. So I'm like, okay, clearly I don't drink it enough that I can afford a really expensive bottle. And it's not a big deal. So my plan is I'm hoping to buy a Glenlivet 18 year, which is just a fantastic scotch. So that's sort of my goal.
More than one mission available now. Don't get confused.
I do really like rum as well. Usually my go-to for rum is Bacardi Oakheart, which is, it's not like a crazy high-end brand or anything, but it's an oak matured rum, and it's just such good quality, and the price is not crazy. Like, it's like for a quart about $2 more than a quart of Captain Morgan, which is, I mean, it's low end rum. So that stuff is my go-to. I'm actually gonna not go into another game just because I'm really running out of time, which is a shame because this episode is a lot shorter than I would have liked. But aside from that, I have a big old whiskey collection. My pride and joy of it right now would be the Crown Royal Northern Harvest. That was voted at least North America's best whiskey. I don't remember if it was the world, but it was impossible to get your hands on for a long time. Amazing, amazing, amazing whiskey. So yeah, I'll drink pretty much anything, but beer, scotch, whiskey, rum. Those are usually my 4 staples. Hypothetically here, both your players must retire, and you're only allowed 1 more player ever in your entire VHL history. You can't create another after this, but for funds, you'll get them for 10 seasons. What position and name do you choose and why? Name, I have no idea. I have always... I pick a... I basically pick a country that I come from, and then I'll just go from there with the name. I'll just find a name that looks good. Obviously, actually, I think I kind of want to use that one. This doesn't really help me much. With my last 2 players being European, I would probably make a North American, so the name wouldn't be something weird. It'd be something you could, pronounce. But I don't really know what it would be. I look it up at the time, so I don't know. Position would probably be a winger. Obviously, I don't want to run a goalie for that many seasons, and I just did. And I've got a defenseman that I just finished too. So, like, winger makes the most sense. I would switch back to forward, and I've had more success with wingers than I have with center. Center, I had White, who he did win a scoring title, but it was such a pathetic year that he really should never have been even close. But Miller and Beketov, who I deem is probably my best players, even though Miller never won any awards ever, were both wingers. So I would probably make a winger. Don't know the name, but 10 seasons, though, that'd be interesting. Regression would totally destroy me. Anyway, sorry for sort of rushing through and playing terrible, but I've got to shower and get to work in like 20 minutes. So, I appreciate the questions, as always. Thank you so much. If you want to go leave more questions in the league discussion, that would be great. And as per usual, this has been Beketov. I'll see you next time.